Welcome to the Instagram stories for Monday, October 11th. You know what we do on Mondays. I don't have to say it every time, but I'll just say it just this once. Head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, doesn't ask me anything, and we talk about his answers. Sometimes I add insights to his answers or give it a slightly different perspective. Sometimes I just straight up don't agree. I mean, hey, it's my show. I could do that. First question, is there an optimal time to post? I like his answer. Here it is.
There is no one optimal time to post, but I do think it's usually good early in the day for most of your followers. And if you go to your insights, you can actually see at what time of day you have the most followers. And I like personally to post before that peak starts to grow.
I definitely agree with that. One caveat I will say is if you look at your analytics, make sure you see a time zone in there. If you go in and you think it's your own time zone, it may not be. For instance, I'm Eastern Standard Time, but when I look in my analytics, it actually gives me the times to post based on Pacific Standard Time. Yours may do the same thing, so definitely check that out before you post. Next question, and I think this is the best one of the bunch, to be honest. Do you think reducing reach will cause content creators to leave this platform and choose another? Here's his answer. It's a two-parter.
If creators lose reach, then yeah, the risk is that they'll leave the platform. But to be super clear, we are trying to increase the amount of reach any individual creator gets always. We can't always do that. There's more creators, there's more competition, people's interests change, but we're always trying to grow the pie. Also, a common misconception is that we reduce people's reach so that they have to advertise with us. But if we did that, it would actually be bad for the business. Reducing reach artificially would mean that people would use Instagram less, which would mean that we would make less money, not more.
I agree with all of that. I'm glad he said it. I think the underlying thing to keep in mind is there's just so many accounts on Instagram and so many different ways to view content on Instagram between stories, live, reels, that oftentimes our content isn't seen just because there's so many other things to do in the app. Plus, you think about the time spent on competing apps like YouTube, Snapchat, and TikTok, it does make the pie very big, which means that your piece becomes much, much smaller. I do agree with what he said. Next question, what was the outage on Monday like for you? I think we've talked about that extensively, but let's give it another perspective.
Not great. I mean, even our internal tools went down, so we had trouble even communicating with each other at Instagram and at Facebook, but glad the team worked as hard as they did and fixed it and got everything back up and running.
The next question is in the same vein. What caused the outage this week? Was it a cyber attack? You already know the answer, but here's it anyway.
Big apologies for the outage this week. It was not a cyber attack. It was a configuration mistake in our data centers. We actually had to go in physically and get the right passwords to get back in everything, which is why it took so long to get back up, but hopefully we will do better next time. My apologies.
And the last question we're going to talk about today, how do you do your subtitles? You guys already know how to do subtitles because I talked about it when it was in the Threads app. I talked about it now that it's a sticker on stories, but here's the answer just in case you didn't know.
I use the captions sticker, which I love. So you just go to the sticker tray, you go to captions, and it'll automatically transcribe your audio, and you can go in there and edit any mistakes. And it just made my AMAs so much easier every week. I can't even tell you.
You know what's great about the caption sticker? There are so many times that you want to watch stories. Maybe you forgot your Bluetooth headphones or your AirPods or whatever. Maybe you're laying in bed next to your sleeping spouse or sleeping child and you don't want to wake them. Maybe you're in some other kind of environment where you don't want to be distracting, but you still want to watch someone's story. Captions are the best for that. As well as people who may have some sort of accessibility issues, captions are great for them as well. Okay, that's it for today's show. There is one news item that news hardly ever comes up on the weekend, but Instagram is going to introduce a take a break feature and nudge teens away from harmful content. This was announced by the Vice President of Global Affairs today, Sunday. That never happens in the Facebook, Instagram world. So I will talk about that on tomorrow's show. Come back tomorrow for that.